Okay, with this John Benet Ramsey case, there can only be so many real valuable suspects in this case because there was no entry, according to the police and according to everybody else. There was no entry. Nobody on the outside could have done this. It should have been one of the family members. By the way the crime looks, even I agree. Oh, no entry? It's family. Most of the time it is. I'm going to eliminate the father, the mother, and Burke. I'm going to eliminate them. But I'm going to eliminate all the outside suspects first. Except for Bill Ramsey and or his wife. And except for the housemaid and or her son. Which the killer could possibly be her son because the DNA didn't match and I don't think they tested him. The point is the Ramseys are innocent. Burke did not hit that girl over the head. Not an 8-inch crack in the skull. If you have an 8-inch crack where it's hit here at the wide spot and this crack gets smaller, and that's how the crack went, that means you hit her on the back of the head, probably with a baseball bat or a mag flashlight. But a mag flashlight might not do it. The killer may have hit with a mag flashlight to make it look like a police scene. But not a golf club. That crack was done by a aluminum bat. Burke could not have hit his sister that hard over the head. Carried her down the stairs. Strangled her. Then he electrocuted her or poked her with a train thing. And then tied her up. And then put duct tape over her mouth. And vaginally assaulted her with a paintbrush, which he broke into 3 pieces, and he put one in the tray and one on her, and took the other paintbrush piece. And then he wrapped her up in a blanket. Really? Burke is innocent. Now, Burke hitting the child over the head, and the parents covering up, possibility. But that was done post-mortem. That crack would have made the internal bleeding. She did not have that much internal bleeding. That means her blood flow was slower. She was already dead or in comatose state when she was bonked on the head. Common science. Look it up. It was post-mortem. She was strangled. And then another cord wrapped around her. You've already strangled a child. Why have another cord, and why hit her over the head, overkill, and electrocute her and molest her and everything else? It doesn't make sense. No 9-year-old kid's going to do that. And then the parents aren't going to go and cover up and say, okay, Burke, you hit her on the head. Let's do this and this and this and this. And still stick something up their vagina. Doesn't make sense that the parents or Burke would do it. Common knowledge. Now, they would have had to have been suspects, and they would have had to have done it because they're in the house and there's no intruder. That means that intruder came through the front door with an alarm code or a key. Did not come through the basement. Burke did not think, Mommy, Daddy, or Dad and Mom didn't think about taking a suitcase and setting up the room and doing the whole 9 yards and then writing a ransom note. No, it was all premeditated and pre-done. This crime took 10 minutes tops. He was in and out. Hiding in the house maybe, and then committing the crime. The only one that would be able to go up to the bedroom and wake her up in the middle of the night after a party. The only one that could walk into her bedroom without her making any noise would be a family member or Santa. Mom and Dad were way too tipsy, trust me. Burke, he got a PlayStation. I heard he got a PlayStation for Christmas. He was up all night playing PlayStation, including in the morning. That's why he came out and Dad said, go back in. Burke doesn't care. Burke doesn't know about it. He doesn't understand about the crime. He had no idea. He was playing PlayStation. Pay attention to the clues. You'll see that they're all innocent. The Ramseys did not kill her. It was an inside job. Somebody that knows John Ramsey, knows Burke, knows the whole family. It was Santa Claus. I'm telling you. It was Bill McReynolds. He's smart. He went in and he waited for them. He took his boots off. He put one footprint. He put a suitcase underneath the window with one scuff mark. In a house that big. That footprint went all the way upstairs and downstairs, or waited downstairs for John Benet. John Benet came down, they met, and so he went from the regular entrance into the basement, and there's a footprint next to the body. One footprint. People are not looking at this case right. If there was a footprint found by the original detective, Lou Smith, then that means that's a crime scene evidence. One footprint. But I'm going to show you how one footprint gets down there. You dip your shoe in mud, and you walk down in your shoes, and you go, boom, and it makes a print. You're jumping down from a window. You'd have mud on your shoes, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. The footprints are going to be thicker, thin, thick, 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 thin, thin, thinner, thinner. Not thick on the other side of the room. One footprint. That's the whole thing that's telling you there was no intruder. This crime scene would baffle a police officer. It's a great police test. One footprint next to her. And then, from what Dr. Oz says, there was some popcorn and some leaves. He didn't come through the grate. He did not come through the grate or take the grate out to get into the window and do this and that. That's BS. The other broken window was broken by John. That crime was done by Bill McReynolds. He's smart enough. And I even think Bill McReynolds, the case of his daughter, was one of his cases. He's a serial killer, and he's been doing this for many years. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you're talking out your butt. You don't know what you're talking about. Prove it. I have more proof that Bill McReynolds did this crime than anybody else has proof. Not because I studied it and not because I'm smart. I have the proof because it's right there in the case. Go back to the original day in 1996 and the original information. It's right there. It's so simple. He set it up to confuse everybody. And after 25 years is playing telephone, it ends up being a total different story. If you go back to the original case, you can solve that case right there. It's Bill McReynolds, and he's done more than that. I'm ready to prove it on TV.